Appearance on Dion's Daily Dose does not imply endorsement from or by any candidate or guest. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by Dion Bergeron or Dion's Daily Dose are his own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of any guest. Material and information presented is for general information purposes only. The Dion's Daily Dose name in all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owners, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service. If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Dion here, along with my good friend, Jim. Welcome,
Hey,
Jim.
how's it going?
Good, man. So we're just going to get into it. We're a couple minutes late. I forgot to update the graphic, but, you know, it happens. It's stupid o'clock in the morning, man. What do you want from me? I know 8 o'clock may not seem stupid o'clock, but you know me, I'm night shift, man. Always been.
This is like my afternoon.
You're right. Yeah, you're just getting off of work. I'm just crawling my lazy ass out of bed. So how's it going, man?
Oh, I mean, not too bad.
Yeah.
You know, pretty decent day. You know, actually got to pull the motorcycle out and ride to work.
Finally having a tiny bit of decent weather, at least for, you know, a day or two at a time for what that's worth. But so the subject for today, the topic for today is the 3% from your motorcycle club. First, the club that you're a part of is called Patriotic View. We talked about them briefly during the kind of premiere episode of Coffee.
Right, just a little bit of backstory there.
Yeah. But you guys are you have on your gear a 3%er organization. So a lot of the people that see that, probably not a lot, but some people who see that, especially with the media being how the media is, there's some scare tactics out there about what 3% means and all of that.
Well, and we'll touch on that for a second.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not all of it is just, media scare tactics. The 3% movement nationally, not for us, but just in general, was started back in like 2008, online on social media, whatever, which really kind of breathed new life into the militia movement from the 90s.
Yeah. Which was a big thing in the 90s. And obviously there's the real movement, and then there's kind of Hollywood version or what's portrayed.
Well, and the thing about
some overlap, but not nearly.
The thing about the 3% movement is it's not an organization per se. It's not like they have a national, headquarters, and it's an idea. Yeah, it's an idea. It's a concept.
So like Antifa.
I don't want to speak on Antifa. Why would you do that, man? So
that's it's the claim. It's not a real organization. It's just an idea. It's just a concept. That's the claims when it comes to Antifa.
Fucking do you, Antifa, whatever. So as a matter of fact, like if you go to the National 3% website, there's nothing on it but the logo.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of empty, right?
Yeah. I mean, it used to have stuff on it. It's quoted on other websites. Yeah. As a matter of fact, if you go to Library of Congress, they quote the website, their mission statement, as it were.
Right.
Which is not on the website anymore. Not that I could find anyway. No matter how many times I refresh the site.
Yeah.
But it's really it's an idea. And people have taken that idea.
Right.
And
kind of made it their own.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's commonalities to it.
Yeah. But just like anything, I mean, you start with a common core concept, and then for every person, it's a little different. I mean, let's look at religion just briefly. Christianity has how many forms?
Right.
I mean...
Well, and the problem with the 3% movement from its inception was theoretically the concept was sound, but in practice it was misguided.
Okay.
You know, like I said, it breathed new life into the whole militia movement. But the 3%, as they like to put forth on that, and a lot of people like to practice it, really to me seems like putting the cart before the horse. Okay. You're ready to go to war.
Yeah.
You know, for independence, freedom, liberty. You know, whatever you want to rally behind.
Right.
And I'm all for all of that.
Okay.
However, you know, you're already loading up your guns and getting ready to fight, you know, this tyrannical government.
Okay.
There's no leadership structure. There's no plan in place.
Yeah.
There's no back in the Revolutionary War, you know, back in the 1700s, we didn't just go. You know, the founding fathers didn't wake up one day and go, grab your muskets, we're going to mess some shit up. I mean, really.
Right.
I mean, they did not want.
That was the last resort.
Yeah, they didn't want to go to war.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, if you look, you guys are probably familiar with, but if you look up the first battle, right, that kind of kicked off, nobody knows who fired the first shot. It was a group of men versus a group of men just standing there, and they stood there for how long was it, man? It was multiple hours. Like it was a very, very long time. I don't remember the exact numbers, but they stood there facing off with each other. No one wanted to be that guy. No one wanted to. They didn't want this to kick off because they were part of the same country at the time.
Right.
It's, you know, literally brother against brother. Many of them had family there, you know, back in England. They didn't want that, but it had to be that way.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, you know, push came to shove.
Exactly.
And that was the thing, you know.
So what is 3%, I guess, mean to you versus the kind of general, you know,
well,
concept?
before we get into that, let me speak to where the 3 and 3% came from, because there's been, and this is really funny to me, because that's where the detractors of the 3% movement, that's where they want to, that's the hill they want to die on.
Yeah, that's the focus.
Well, that's not even a thing. 3% wasn't even a thing. There were like 230 some odd thousand, you know, people in the colonial army.
Right.
And that doesn't even, you know, the math doesn't math.
Right.
So you're all stupid. Well, I'm here to tell you that, yes, there were 231,000 people in the Continental Army.
Yep.
That war lasted over 8 years.
Yeah, that was the entirety.
That was over the entirety of the conflict.
Right.
And at any given time, there were no more than 40, sometimes less, but never more than 48,000 soldiers in the Continental Army.
Right.
Now that's just soldiers in the army. That doesn't count the militia.
Right. That's a different story.
The ranks were filled out with militiamen. At the absolute height, militia and Continental Army, 80,000. That was the biggest number it ever got.
Right.
That's the number that they draw the 3% from.
Okay.
So you had 80,000 people in the Continental Army and the militia. We're not including the mercenaries. We're not including the French. We're not including any of that. Just the militia and the Continental Army.
Right.
80,000 at the height.
Okay.
And when you divide that by the population of the colonies at the time, it comes out to like 2.9 something percent.
Yeah, it's like 2.9.
So, you know, and Roman numerals don't do decimals very well.
So,
so 3.
Yeah.
And that's the dumbest thing to argue over.
Yeah. Well,
it's symbology.
Right.
It's, you know, you have a slogan, you have, you know, Burger King, home of the Whopper.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's what it is. It's just
Subway, eat fresh.
you know,
I mean, yeah, you got
you've got limited space on your flag, okay?
Yeah,
so
yeah, 2.3642%.
yeah, you know, so that always seemed ignorant to me to argue over the numbers there. It's just a symbol,
right? It's symbolic. It's
and what it and at least to me, the 3% symbol. It's an idea and it's a message.
Okay.
And basically, at least to me, and this is just my personal opinion,
right?
It is a message to the government that, hey, man, we've been here before.
Yeah. We don't want to get there again.
Yeah.
But we will.
Okay. You know, remember what happened last time?
Right. Right.
You know, because it's real interesting that a lot of the things that, you know, were the line in the sand, you know, a lot of the things that were like okay, you know, we've had enough, you know, taxes.
Yeah. Yeah. We're up to like 40% now taxes what was the T tax, like 4?
I don't have those numbers.
I believe it was around 4, maybe 7.
You know, it always, even before 3% was even a notion in my head, before any of that, it always seemed almost ironic to me that we never bat an eye over the things that our founding fathers fought tooth and nail over.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, you have to pay for a stamp if you want to send a letter.
Right. Right.
We fought over that.
We did.
Our founding fathers did.
Right.
You know, and
right. Yeah, there's fishing licenses, hunting licenses, license for your car, license for the ability to drive. You got sales tax.
Yeah. Look. Tax. Yeah. Let's talk about that for a second. You know, they tax. You know, when you work, they tax your income.
Yep.
So they take a chunk out of your money, and you get what's left. Now, out of that money you got left, you have to buy. You have to buy food. Well, sales tax.
Sales tax. Yes, indeed.
You know, you probably have a mortgage or, you know, a house or rent or whatever. Well, property tax. You know, and God forbid you have some sort of windfall.
Oh yeah.
Oh, capital gains tax.
You see the new unrealized gains.
You know,
tax
I have not.
We'll save that for another time.
But it just becomes this giant circle.
Yeah.
And I'm not sitting here saying, you know, there are people that are like, all taxation is theft.
Right.
Well, it takes money it takes money to run a country.
That's what I was going to say.
For infrastructure and things like that. The problem I'm seeing these days, and I'm just, you know, your average Joe.
Yeah.
You know, don't have any fancy economics degrees or, you know, political sciences or any of that stuff.
Right. Gender studies.
But just the stuff that I really.
No, I'm saying there's one.
Any of you. Yes, that's true. I don't have a gender studies degree.
See,
okay,
I was right.
So focus up. So you screwed me up again.
Sorry.
What was I saying?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm so focused on the comedy.
I'm trying to.
I know you're trying to expound on a theory. Right. I got you. So you're just a regular Joe. Yeah. You don't have a fancy degree.
Just a regular Joe. Just the stuff that I've seen.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing a whole lot comparatively, you know, in the grand scheme of things. I'm not seeing a whole lot of money go into infrastructure.
Right. Right. Well, that was one of the big.
We're giving lots of monies for bailouts.
Yes.
We're becoming ever more heavily a welfare state.
Indeed.
We're sending billions and billions and billions of dollars
overseas,
elsewhere.
Yep. To countries. Some cases to countries that don't have our best interests at heart.
let me
I would argue that no other country should have
Well,
our best interests at heart. Since
let me give my personal opinion again. There is not a country out there that at the end of the day has our best interests at heart.
nor should they.
Nor should they.
Right.
They should have their own best interests at heart, just like we should.
We should have our own best interests at heart.
And that's just not.
That's not the way it is, right?
No.
Right.
And I've said to you time and time and time again that being a politician should not be a career path.
Absolutely.
It was not meant to be.
Nope.
No, they definitely should not be getting rich off it.
Yeah, no kidding. That's why I'm far more worried about the ones who get into politics and then become rich than the ones who are rich already and go into politics.
Right. And the rich don't think like
we do. They just they simply don't, because they grew up very differently. When you don't have to watch your parents.
I understand that's a generalization.
It is, but I mean, it's generally true.
Right. But as a generalization, they don't worry about the same things we worry about.
Right. Right. And it's not a slam. I mean, I know people who have worked very, very hard in order to, have a secure financial future.
Right.
But when you're brought up in, especially generational wealth, you're brought up in a very, for example, Trump, some of the other well-known, truly rich people. I'm not talking, they made $1 million with their local business.
Yeah.
I'm talking hundreds of millions, if not multi-billions.
Yeah. Well, we talk about the generational wealth. What was that thing a few years back that they were trying to use as a legal defense? What do they call it? Affluenza?
Affluenza.
Yeah. No. He doesn't understand because
he's never had to interact with the poors.
Right.
Yeah. He has different, brain structure or understanding or something. Basically, he doesn't know right from wrong because he's independently wealthy and was brought up in a culture of affluence. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, you're really trying to peddle this?
Oh, yeah. Well, I would say that's the next logical step in the evolution of multi-tiered justice, right? It's the next logical, we can't possibly hold him responsible. He's part of the elite.
Right.
Come on.
Well, and that's, money makes things happen. That's just the unfortunate truth of things. And as far as, politics go, in my personal opinion, politicians now have just become the new nobility.
Absolutely.
And they don't care about the unwashed masses. No. We're nothing but their serfs to, provide, the taxes to,
fund other countries
to, keep their houses in order.
Yeah, absolutely. So pivoting back to the 3% thing for a moment. So to you, ultimately, it represents a warning shot, or not even a shot, like a warning flare to the government.
More like a reminder.
Okay. All right.
More like a reminder. You guys have been, running around doing your thing. We've been letting it slide.
So do you guys have like a compound that has like razor wire and machine gun turrets and
I only wish.
Lasers,
No, we don't have anything
sharks
like that.
With freaking laser beams.
It's not we don't run around doing drills. We don't paint our faces up in grease paint or anything like that. We take care of forgotten veterans.
Yeah. You touched on very briefly before, and we won't hijack this episode with it, but I really would like to get in another time to all the things that you guys do for the veterans around this area. And like we mentioned during the premiere, there's not many services around here.
Not around
they
here.
Exist, but there's not many compared to some other areas, even nearby us, but just out of reach. So 3%. It's gotten kind of a bum rap with kind of the legacy media. There's a lot of scare tactics, and like you briefly mentioned, it's not entirely unwarranted.
Right.
So let's talk about that for a minute.
Okay. I've noticed there's a distinction because, like, our organization, our say Track View.
Yep.
It was started in Texas by combat veterans.
Yeah.
They looked around. They didn't like what they saw.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided to get together, make this organization, help veterans, do, they decided to be a 3% organization.
Right.
Are they a militia? No.
Right.
But, I've noticed, and this is just my observations.
Okay.
I have no concrete evidence, just anecdotal.
Right.
That 3% seems to mean something a little different to a veteran, especially a combat veteran.
Okay. Yeah, touch on that for a minute.
And just your average person who's like, we pay too much in taxes and the government's corrupt and
right.
And I'm not saying that,
But that's not a valid,
yeah, it's not a valid gripe.
Right.
But the attitude is a little different.
Oh, yeah.
For
combat
and
veterans.
Maybe it's as simple as, well, we drilled, we went into combat,
Mm-hmm.
we have training,
right,
as opposed to, a civilian who, just does the day to day and, needs that extra, practice or whatever. Maybe it's just that simple. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a little bit of a different mindset.
Okay.
And maybe it's because, the veterans have been part of, the military mindset and seen what goes on within that structure. Because if you haven't done it,
right,
you're never really going to understand it. There's a lot of, there's a lot of veterans on social media that will do kind of a comedic satire of the military lifestyle, and things like that. Some of them are entertaining. Some of them,
less so, depending.
Yeah, and entertainment's subjective, but
exactly.
But they'll do a little satire on, the how disorganized that organization is.
Right.
How little sense a lot of their policies are.
Mm-hmm.
Things of that nature. But when you've actually been a part of that, you have an insight to how a government
functions,
entity works.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The bureaucracy, the silliness, it's all part of the machine.
Right.
That is a government, especially a government the size of the United States. I mean, good Lord. The bureaus have bureaus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of the big sayings in the military is hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
Where you're, standing in formation in front of the supply at 4:30 in the morning and standing there for 2.5 hours to get your new bed sheets.
Hurry up. And
because the supply sergeant's got to have his coffee.
Well, of course. Yeah, that's it's I will agree with you that there's always going to be a definitive line between the understanding of, let's call them civilians, and those who have served, especially those who have seen combat.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine, as the longtime listeners know, I was never in the military, but I have the utmost respect for those who were. But I can never truly understand the things that those who have been in the military can understand. I can look at, like, for example, some of the kind of satirical, funny, make fun of this kind of stuff. I can understand it from a general level. But like you said, when you've actually been a part of that and stood out there for 2 hours, I can have the concept of standing out there for 2 hours, but it didn't happen to me. So my understanding of it and I guess connection with that comedy or satire is at a much, I guess, lower level or whatever than someone else's who genuinely experienced those things.
It can be funny, but it's not something that you relate to.
Right. Right.
You know,
Whereas,
where somebody who's in
yes.
can relate to that. It's like, oh yeah, that happens all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like trucking memes, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you've been a trucker, they make, you feel it rather than just get that chuckle when you look at it. You're like, oh yeah, I remember that, or whatever.
If you know, you know.
Exactly. Yep. If you know, you know. So the whole, I guess the main question is, like you said, there's no real organizational structure. There's no like we don't report to Bob. Right. Bob isn't our sergeant who then reports to
right. There's none of that.
There's none of that. It's simply a concept that represents an ideal that represents.
Right. And what any particular organization that flies that, particular flag, does with it, that's theirs and theirs alone.
So what about the argument that says, well, since there's this negative stigma associated with this already, why don't you guys use something else or do something else? So you can avoid the negative stigma, because let's face it, in many instances, motorcycle clubs have their own negative stigma. So you guys are, kind of piling it on. What's your answer to that?
I mean, go ahead and pile it on. We can carry a lot.
Okay.
Right. That's just that simple.
Right.
I mean, it's something that, we believe in. The concept is something that we believe in.
Okay.
The motorcycle culture is something that we believe in.
Right.
Whether you love it or hate it, that's who we are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that simple. And why should we change what we think? Because, oh, well, I don't like that.
Yeah. Or because a few people did some stupid stuff.
Right.
Because anytime you have anything, people are going to do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
It just
like
exists.
mostly peaceful protests.
Right. Exactly. Like I said, man, you guys could be the Midwest Antifa.
No.
I'm kidding.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. All right.
Yeah.
So what do you think, or I should say, what do you recommend for those who want to learn, like what 3% actually means, or at least if they were to learn, does this represent my feelings, or is this something I should feel strongly about, or is it just something I should look at and go, and move on? Like, what would you recommend resource-wise?
There's not Okay.
Yeah, now maybe you could like us talk.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is seems like every week there's something now.
So anyway, before there's technical difficulties to however many people are watching right now. But we're trying to get that sorted out. Maybe.
Try.
I mean, if not, we'll just have to continue this another time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which may be the case because this keeps flashing. Let me go check the modem.
Okay. This is what happens when you cheap out on your technical staff.
Right.
Oh. Yeah, having a great time, living the dream. Yeah, I don't even know if we're streaming right now. I'm just kind of looking at myself in the camera. Certainly not the most entertaining thing in the world.
Apparently, I gotta go flip it, but I have my glasses.
Okay, do you need my help?
No, I got it.
Okay.
But I'm gonna need this in order to see. So.
You need what? Oh, your glasses.
Yeah, I need my glasses.
You got a flashlight? I got a flashlight.
I need this. Nope.
Okay. But anyway. Oh, apparently we are going right now. So, at any rate, we don't have a whole lot on our website right now, but you can check out patriotview.com. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to get a hold of us at info@patriotview.com. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. Field your comments or whatever. Just try to keep it classy. Dion's trying to get his end back up and going. I'm not sure exactly what's happening. He knows more about this stuff than I do. I'm still streaming anyway.
All right. As soon as I do get it back up, you'll have to hit the mute.
Right.
But in the future, I'm gonna have like a backup source or something.
Right.
So apparently, I've got a separate. Well, I'll just wait 1 second. But I have a separate. I got an entire separate line for my son downstairs, right? And I guess his breaker popped, and he had gone over and flipped it, but I guess he bumped another breaker, or it popped the breaker and he didn't notice or something. I don't know, but
Well, things happen.
there we go. All right, we're back. Get that, please. All right.
There we go. All right. All right. I apologize, everyone. We had a little bit of a power glitch. Apparently, the breaker that my modem is on got flipped off. So let's just leave it there.
Yeah. Well, now that I know this, I'll try to have something prepared for the interim.
Right.
Maybe I'll do a juggling act or something.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. I'm sure your vast knowledge on the subject of juggling will
Oh yeah.
entertain the viewers.
Yeah, I don't juggle.
All right. So again, apologies for the this was a unique one. Every production, especially anything that has people invested in it, is going to have problems.
Yeah.
This is no exception.
Oh, we've been okay. We're doing
good?
the thing again. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anyway, so I guess I think that people can
Information out there, the good, the bad, the otherwise.
okay.
By all means.
Now, the modem's still on, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, you got kicked off again.
Modem's still on, so I'm not sure.
Oh,
I hear it.
but I've got the mic on here right now.
Okay, yeah. As soon as I can get in, I'm just going to play the outro.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
don't know
so
what's
this
going on
isn't this
today.
isn't working out, so we're going to try to pick this up another time.
Yeah.
Just had a critical failure of some sort. So to anyone who may be watching, thank you for your patience, and we'll pick this up another time.
Yeah, next Wednesday we'll be on.
Yeah, next Wednesday definitely. Maybe we can pick it up another day before that. If not, then next Wednesday definitely.
Yeah, the modem's working fine. So I'm not sure if it's some other system glitch or what. It was fine, and now it's not connecting. It's saying no internet on my end, which I know we have because I just went out there and checked it. So
Right.
some sort of technical issue that's going to take more than a few seconds to resolve.
And it's showing that you're on your Wi-Fi here. So
Okay, that's weird. It's saying no Wi-Fi networks now.
yeah, that's probably with your computer now.
Yeah, that sounds like a computer issue then. All right, let me restart and see what's going on here. See if I can at least get back in and run the outro and call it.
You want me to keep this up and running?
Yeah, at least just talk to him for a minute or so. It shouldn't take me long to get this restarted. Hopefully that'll resolve the issue.
Well, you're used to hoping.
Right? Never fails.
But like I said before, if anybody has any questions about, Patriot View or 3% or anything like that, you can feel free to get a hold of me at info@patriotview.com. I maintain that email, so I will get those and get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Bear in mind I work nights, so if you send me something in the afternoon, I might not get back to you right away, but I will get back to you.
Sponsorship, you gotta accept sponsorship deals, partnerships.
Partnerships up,
Yeah.
but I'll talk to you about that.
Yeah, you don't have to get into like details that you've received. I mean, just in general, are you open to companies in the motorcycle world, especially?
I mean, we're open to just about anything. I mean, as long as we're not for sale. I mean, that's just
okay.
not that's just not the case. But anything that helps our cause and helps the veterans, we're open to. So and not everybody feels comfortable with just writing a check and on good faith. But be more than happy to come up with some sort of collaborative arrangement.
There you go.
During our rides or our anniversary parties or our bike nights, shout outs on the website, Facebook, whatever. So
Okay.
all right, that's off now.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your patience today. I'm going to try to make sure this doesn't happen again. Without further ado, I appreciate you spending the time with us. God bless you. God bless Indiana, and God bless the United States of America. Hope everybody has a wonderful day, and we'll see you next week, Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central.
If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose. This has been Dion's Daily Dose, hosted by Dion Bergeron. Executive producers, Sean Holgram and Michael Beebe. Copyright 2024. Dion's Daily Dose, all rights reserved.